Wii Wonders.
Words. What is this video? This video is a kind of self-made Q&A video to address my latest video series here called Wii Wonders. And this is kind of a way to explain the background in Wii Wonders and what Wii Wonders is. What is Wii Wonders? Wii Wonders is my latest sort of series of videos focusing on reviewing Nintendo Wii games. Why create a review series? Well, it's kind of just been something I've been always kind of interested in doing, in part doing more of a scripted video, and in particular I just wanted to be able to have some way to highlight Nintendo Wii games specifically, and I already do Let's Plays and such and all these other kind of video content on the Grin Brothers channel, and review was something that I didn't do, and I like sharing my thoughts and seeing other people's opinions, and I like trying to see different opinions, as it were, and I feel like I often had a different opinion to express regarding a lot of Nintendo Wii games. Why focus on the Nintendo Wii? Well, the Nintendo Wii is actually my favourite video game console at all. I feel it has a great library, admittedly, a lot of lower quality sort of games are on the Nintendo Wii, but that's because it has a lot of games in general, much like with the PS2. And I feel as a result, the Nintendo Wii actually has a lot of hidden gems, and I felt that, particularly in the generation that it was being released in, with Generation 7, with the climate at the time of the Xbox 360 and the PS3, a lot of the Nintendo Wii games often got overlooked. Unless they were, of course, first party. I think there's a lot of third party games, a lot of exclusive games, and even a lot of first party games that people aren't as familiar with that is on the Nintendo Wii that could really do with having the sort of spotlight on them. I also feel like there's a lot of people who, again, going back to why I feel I can express a different opinion regarding my reviews, is that there's a lot of people who are negative about motion controls. Like, for instance, one of my big inspirations for this series was The Completionist. I really enjoyed his style of videos. However, he often mentioned when playing Wii games and such that he wasn't a fan of motion controls. And I often struggle to find anyone who has ended up playing or doing reviews of Nintendo Wii games who actually said they were a fan of motion controls. Motion controls. As someone who is a fan of motion controls and does enjoy them when applied properly into games, I felt that was already a different opinion to express. Also, whilst it's not as big of a trend nowadays, as there's a lot of YouTubers who are, and video makers who are against doing that sort of thing nowadays, back in the time when I was sort of watching a lot of videos and reviews and such, there was a general trend to try and be more pessimistic regarding things, and I felt like a more optimistic approach to reviewing the games, particularly Nintendo Wii games, which I felt were not getting their fair due, was a good idea. How do you go about reviewing a game? Well, of course, I start things off by doing a small little background research on the game. I've sort of set out each sort of season, as it were, of Wii Wonders with a set list of games to play sort of each season. So I go about sort of obviously starting up the game with a little notebook at hand, and I start recording with audio, with a sort of mic audio on to capture any sort of funny quips or commentary I'll make, and start recording generally like the first sort of opening bits quite consistently. Maybe I'll pause here and there thinking, nothing new is happening. But after getting a sort of good, usually probably like the first hour or so of recording done, I then proceed to try and space out my recording, wait until, this looks to be like a boss battle coming up, I'll record this, or this looks to be a new element that I haven't heard of before, I'll record this. Eventually, after a while, I'll do less and less recording because I don't want to spoil too much later game content, only really starting recording up if there is something in particular to, this is a new feature of the game, I'll show it off. And in games where there's level selection, for instance, I'll often end up playing through a bunch of the levels and actually going back to record them later. Not so much showing my first opinion, but showing, a lot of these levels I feel don't cover new ground or such, but this one does, and it was entertaining. And again, I always try to keep the mic on just in case there is a funny comment that I make that I feel could actually be highlighted within the Wii review itself. And again, I always have a little notebook at hand, taking notes of what I recorded in the episode, as well as after every session of recording, taking down what my thoughts were from that session, Again, all just bullet point stuff to eventually compile together into a review. Oh, and I guess just quickly, I almost forgot about this. In terms of the amount of time spent on the review, I typically try to... Well, originally I was planning to go for 24 hours, but I realised, oh gosh, I do not have the time to sort of sit down for a single game for 24 hours sort of thing, and particularly with how I don't know how my schedule bounced about. So that ended up being shortened down to 18 hours. However, for a lot of games, I may end up completing them within the 18 hours. Not all of them are that long, so I always try to either play for 18 hours, which I did with Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. It is a very lengthy game. And I feel like after you've played a game for 18 hours, you should have an opinion on it. You should be able to judge it. I should be able to say whether who I recommend it to and whether I should recommend it after 18 hours. Otherwise, I complete the main campaign of the game, play around with the extra. I try to play every sort of mode that is available in the game. But of course, it all depends on if I manage to fit within that 18-hour time limit. How is the review structured? As you may be able to notice, the Wii Wonders reviews are structured. Okay, depending on if you've clicked on a Wii Wonders video. Again, I recommend get links in the description to the free Wii Wonders videos I'll have up by now. The Wii Wonders reviews are structured via 4 categories. Again, I kind of was inspired quite a bit by The Completionist. My inspirations, I'd say, were The Completionist and Classic Game Room, were the big inspirations back in the day. For when I initially thought this concept. This concept has been thought of since 2015, 2016. It's been a long time I've been thinking about this idea. But in terms of the review structure, it's separated into 4 segments. Story, which also covers background trivia and such as, what systems the game was released on, or, let's see, in the case of Korarimpa, it's not a very story-heavy game, so I mentioned about how it had planned sort of ports for the 3DS, but never materialized, and what games inspired it. I then cover the controls, because as Nintendo Wii often has unique control setups compared to the other games of its time, due to its motion controls and the uniqueness of the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, I felt that controls was a particular thing that I should highlight. And I go over the controls of the standard game, what optional controls there are, which new Nintendo Wii accessories can be utilized, and, whether the controls differ from multiplayer and such. And then there's the gameplay section, which of course covers mostly everything else. Sometimes some elements from the story and game, the control section can step into the gameplay, as it were, and vice versa. That just generally happens. But gameplay will cover, what you do in the game, as opposed to how you go about doing the game. And it will also cover small bits on, say, sound and music, though I don't have too much of an ear on it, so I can't really comment too often on it. Graphics, all that sort of stuff. So basically the content, the meat of it. And then, of course, there's the conclusion, which I sum up what are my final thoughts on the game, and rather than trying to give the game a rating, because, of course, you're comparing so many different games, it's kind of weird to try and give a rating of a game and have it compared to, say, Korarimpa and Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess are very different games. One person who enjoys Twilight Princess may not enjoy Korarimpa. So I don't so much do a rating for the games, I rather try to suggest who I think would enjoy the game. Because even a bad game to someone may be enjoyable by someone who actually enjoys the genre, or someone who, heck, there are people who enjoy bad games. So one game might be a lot of fun, but too challenging for someone, and might not be challenging enough for another. So I try to focus on who I think would enjoy the game. What people who have experienced, typically it's if you enjoy this genre, you'll probably enjoy this game. But there's also other elements to take into consideration, such as, is it too difficult for this age group, or too easy for this age group? Is it better for people who like lots of story in the game, or people who don't need a story to get immersed in a game? The graphics are good in this game, or the graphics are bad in this game, but other aspects make up for it, sort of thing. All that sort of thing sort of affects who I think then would be best recommended the game. And I try to do several recommendations, as well as advise people who probably wouldn't ultimately enjoy the game. Who is the girl? Now, the girl you'll be seeing in a lot of the Wii Wonders popping up in artworks or through character creators whenever I end up reviewing Wii games, which has that purpose, is my OC and avatar Nanka. I've used her for years now, and she represents both a co-mascot to the Grin Brothers channel and as my personal avatar for not just the Grin Brothers channel, but also for several other sort of sites that I'm a member of. If you see Nanka, you can pretty much say, oh, there, that's Souldin. He represents himself with the ambassador of Nanka. Who made the artwork? The artwork you'll have already seen so far in Wii Wonders has been primarily in regards to the Nanka Chibi artworks that appear for the story, the controls, the gameplay, and the conclusion sections. Those are all made by Star Team 2017. Though one of them is also now got their own sort of DeviantArt profile and such, known as Sakasama, so that's also worth noting. I'll make sure to link to all of them there below. They're a fantastic team of artists, and I went to them because they were a team of artists, so I could get all 4 Chibi and Nanka artworks done by different artists, and they've all come out fantastically with their own sort of charm and style to them. As for the cover art to Wii Wonders, the cover art is specifically in regards to those currently there, is in specific regards to Wii Wonders Season 1. I'll be having a new cover art every season, which is roughly about 10 episodes, maybe a few more episodes if I decide to make any bonus content, such as this. But the first Season 1 Wii Wonders cover art, of course featuring Nanka, as they all will, was created by Pat the Rocks. Again, link in the summary below. Please do check out these artists. They're all amazingly talented. And of course, in future, new season artworks will be done by different artists. And hope you'll enjoy the artists I end up choosing to create the new season cover artworks. The Chibis, on the other hand, they'll be staying the same. And of course, other artworks may pop up from time to time. For instance, if I mention my brother, I'll end up throwing maybe one of the hat artworks up on screen, and other artworks that I've got for the Grin Brothers channel. And I'll be sure to sort of link to the proper artists for each of these artworks in the summary whenever I do use them. Where can I watch and keep up to date on Wii Wonders? Well, you can watch Wii Wonders on the Grin Brothers YouTube channel, which is probably where you're watching this. Although I've also been considering opening up a Vlare.tv channel. Another sort of video website competitor to YouTube that's smaller but looks to be more social in a sense. A lot of people comment more often, perhaps because it's a smaller community. So you may be watching this on Vlare at this point in time. So Vlare is also somewhere I'm planning to upload Wii Wonders. The Grin Brothers aren't planning to upload many of the same videos across both sites. We want to make sure the content is specific and exclusive to each site, but Wii Wonders will probably be an exception. Where I'll be uploading, at least for Season 1, to both websites and see which works out best. You can also keep up to date with Wii Wonders information via the Grin Brothers Twitter, where we'll post updates into when Wii Wonders, new Wii Wonders videos will be uploaded. The Grin Brothers Tumblr, again, where updates will be made to when new Wii Wonders content is uploaded. And I also tend to mention Wii Wonders and new Wii Wonders episodes and such on my DeviantArt, the Souldin DeviantArt. I'll link that again below. Although I couldn't use an I, so I had to use a 1 back in the day. Someone had apparently taken the word Souldin. I didn't think anyone would take the word Souldin. It's not even a word. I made it up. And yeah, I often end up commenting on it. And of course, that is where I commission all the artwork for Wii Wonders, because I like trying to pull together my artworks and artists into one place. So that, if I ever need to say, oh, hey, you got, what artwork have you commissioned? It's like, I've got the one site I can direct people to, rather than saying, oh, you have to click here. This person doesn't have that account, so click there. I like trying to keep it all in one place. And that's where you can keep up to date with Wii Wonders. And if there are any changes to Wii Wonders, such as delays in episodes or changes into where we're uploading sort of thing, those sites will be where to keep up with the information. Where do you hope to take this series? Well, being ambitious and thinking that I'm going to be comfortable enough for a good 10 years, I'm hoping to do Wii Wonders for at least 100 episodes. I hope to at least upload 10 episodes every year. So that's an episode per month, not including bonus episodes. Then I get a nice little bit of a 2-month break, and then another 10 episodes the next year. So in theory, I'll have covered the minimum, again, not counting bonus episodes such as this, and other games I may feel are worth reviewing due to the fact that I'd have played them on the Grin Brothers channel, or that I'd have just slapped them together because I felt that they could be done, that they're best sort of played together, as it were. I should cover the minimum 100 episodes within 10 years. Well, more like 100 plus, really. And in general, I hope that Wii Wonders gets popular so that not only can my passion project that I've always wanted to do here gets the attention I really want it to, and I get the opportunity to discuss with people about video games and such. I've always loved the opportunity to be able to just chat with people in the comment section about the videos and about the games. But also to hope that it actually highlights the games the Wii is known for, and highlights the games the Wii has to offer, and gets people to actually either check out the Wii games and, consider purchasing some themselves, and ultimately looking back on the Wii's history and thinking, you know what, the Nintendo Wii was a pretty good console. It had a pretty good library. I want people to look back on the Nintendo Wii as not just, it was that gimmick toy, or it was that casual machine, or, it was the other one of Gen 7. I wanted to have it be seen as a serious and enjoyable video game machine. It's a worthy console to stand alongside the PS3 and Xbox 360, and it has a library, not just of Nintendo's big, well-known first-party games, but a massive library of varied content for people to enjoy. That covers it for the questions I posed to myself, but if you have any questions regarding Wii Wonders, or just Grin Brothers in general, or any questions really, feel free to ask them down below. I'll be happy to chat with you and try and answer them. I hope you enjoyed watching this then, and cheerio!
Thank you for watching. Cheerio!